We flew from Istanbul to Izmir with Turkish Airlines, which I highly recommend if at all possible. If you book early enough, the rates are comparable with the low-cost airlines. I was able to get a rate of only $48 for my flight. It was a very comfortable flight, and they even offered a delicious meal. We then rented a car with GPS, which definitely is a must. I can't tell you how many times that GPS saved us. But if you're not familiar with it, ask the person assigning the car for assistance since the directions are not included. In just under an hour from Izmir Airport, you will find the ruins of one of the most amazing cities in the world, the ancient Greek city of Ephesus, which was founded in the 11th century BC. Once a major seaport, the sea is now more than 6 miles away. Stroll along the old Harbor Street, which is the main entrance toward the beautiful theater. The Celcuk Library is one of the most beautiful buildings here in Ephesus. It is a monumental tomb built for the governor Celcuk by his son. The grave was beneath the main floor with the statue of the goddess of wisdom, Athena, standing guard. It was the third richest library in ancient time. The gates were built by slaves Mazias and Mithridates in 40 AD to honor their emperor Augustus, who had given them their freedom. The area in front of the gate was once used as a theater. People would use the stairs as seats. By entering the gates, you would come to the State Agora. This area played an important role for government discussions. Cross the street and you will find the latrine. The toilets were placed side by side without any separation. The slaves would be required to sit on them first to warm them up for their masters. Now you are on Terrace Street. Just imagine what life was like back in the days of the ancient Romans and Greeks. This temple was built around 128 AD and dedicated to the Emperor Hadrian. Right across from the Hadrian Temple, on the side of the hill, you will find the Terrace Houses, or the houses of the rich. The oldest one dates all the way back to 1C BC and remained in use until 7C AD. It is in the process of being restored, and you can see where they are piecing the mosaics back together. The protective roof protects the amazing frescoes and the mosaic floors. There is an extra charge to view these homes, but it is well worth it. At the end of the street, you will come to the Odeon, a small theater which was used by the council to discuss important city matters. A 20-minute drive further, you will find the Grotto of the Seven Sleepers. The Christian legend states that during the reign of Decius in 250, 7 young men were walled in, but some insist were seen later around 431. The Christians later built a church in honor of the seven, right above the grotto. Drive a little further to the House of Mary. This is where the Virgin Mary is believed to have lived out the last years of her life. Outside the house, you can find 3 fountains which are believed to provide health, love, and wealth. You will also find the Wall of Wishes, where you can write your wish on a piece of paper and attach it to the wall. Here you will get an amazing view of Selcuk City, the Castle of Selcuk, and St. John Basilica, which is where we are heading to next. It is believed that St. John, one of the 12 apostles, came here during his last years and was buried here. A small chapel was built 300 years after his death over his grave. Later it was expanded, creating the beautiful Basilica of St. John. It was built in the shape of a cross with 6 domes. St. John's tomb was found under the dome in the center. It was destroyed by an earthquake in the 14th century. After visiting the Basilica of St. John, you can also visit the restored Selcuk Castle using the same ticket. Then back into your car for a few-minute drive, you will find one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world, the Temple of Artemis. This temple was dedicated to the goddess Artemis, daughter of Zeus, goddess of the hunt and moon. It was destroyed 3 times. First by flooding, it was rebuilt a few hundred years later. This is the one that was known as one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world. It was destroyed by fire. Herodotus set fire to it, wanting to go down in history, which it didn't work very well for him because anyone who spoke his name was sentenced to death. And it was finally rebuilt approximately 323 BC. This temple was in use for almost 600 years before finally being destroyed and looted by the Goths. It is believed to have been one of the largest temples in the world and sadly is now only a pile of rubble. Well, thanks for joining me on my tour of Ephesus, and for more must-see destinations, please subscribe.